we're going to talk a little bit about fuzzing. Fuzzing is sending random input to an application to try and get that application to crash. Now, that is a precursor to discovering a vulnerability. You got it to crash. And once you've discovered that there is a vulnerability, you can try to hone in onto that vulnerability and see what it will take to crash. But you don't just want it to crash, you want it to crash in the exact right way. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about quite a bit in this course. When it comes to fuzzing applications, we looked at some possible vulnerabilities in previous videos, things such as buffer overflows, various sorts. In order to crash those applications, we had to feed in bad input on the command line. Now, that certainly is a possibility, and there are programs that run that way and are vulnerable to user input on the command line, but it's much more common to have an application that's actually some sort of network application that is vulnerable. Of course, that's more desirable anyway, because that allows you to go across a network, possibly the internet, and reach a system that has a vulnerable application and then exploit that vulnerability. So, in order to get set up to do some fuzzing, the first thing that we want to do is set up our virtual environment. So, I like to use VirtualBox. It's a very popular virtualization tool. It's free. It's available for Windows, Linux, and Mac, and probably some others. Once you have VirtualBox installed, you'll want to set up some networking. So, here on my VirtualBox machine, the first thing I want to do is set up what's called a host-only network. For example, if you create a new machine, I'll just click on one of my virtual machines here. And if you look at its settings, you will see that under network, by default, it will have one adapter. And normally it will say it's enabled and it's attached to NAT, which stands for Network Address Translation. This allows your virtual machine to get out to the internet, which can be a desirable thing. For our purposes, we want access to our guest machine in the VirtualBox from our host machine. And in order to do that, we need an adapter that is set up to be a host-only adapter. So notice here, the second adapter is disabled. And before I can set up an adapter as a host-only network adapter, I need to go on my main VirtualBox screen, File, and then go to Preferences. From here, click on Network, and you'll see there is a tab for host-only networks. If you click on that tab, initially there will be nothing here. All you need to do is click on the plus, and it will add a virtual network for you. In my case, I already had one, so I'm going to go ahead and delete the one that I just added, and I will click OK. So now if I go back to my virtual machine, my guest machine, and I click on it, click on Settings, and go to Networks, click on Adapter 2, and say Enable, and tell it I want it attached to a host-only network adapter. And by default, if you have just one network that's marked as host only, it would autofill this box, and then you can press OK. Great. So let's go ahead and run one of our virtual machines and install some vulnerable software, and then show you how to use a fuzzer in order to find those vulnerabilities. So I'm going to go ahead and start up a Windows 7 machine, which will take a while because it is Windows 7 after all. And it looks like we're finally booted. Go ahead and log in. We'll load our browser. And we are going to search for something called Vuln Server. I'm going to search for download. The gray corner, that's what we want. And if we go to this web page and we scroll down just before the comments, there should be a link. We will download our vulnerable application. It's fairly small, so it downloads fairly quickly. Go ahead and open my attachment. I see there's some source files, an executable, a few other README files, and I need to extract these from the zip file. So I will go ahead and extract these files to c:\vuln server. I will click on extract, and there you have it. We have our vuln files, and we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will continue our discussion of fuzzing with the vulnerable server.